Hey yo, good evening, Chico Army, and any new viewers tuning in for the very first time. My name is Tyler of Chico Crypto, and the clock just hit beer 30, so it's time for crypto, and of course, a cold one. Today's featured brewski is a Shock Top, their new Ruby Fresh Grapefruit. I'm fucking excited about this one, it looks delicious. Oh, that's good. That's really good. They're coming out with some awesome fruity beers lately. So, we have been talking a lot about Bitcoin lately, but there is another coin whose ecosystem has developed more over the past 2 years. And this is due to a simple template to launch a token, Turing-complete smart contracts, and comprehensive developer support, including documentation. If you haven't guessed by now, the coin I am talking about is Ethereum. Ethereum took a beating just like every other crypto, reaching lows of nearly $80 in mid-December and losing the number 2 spot to XRP. That should have been a major buy signal because shortly after, Ethereum went on the climb, posting significant gains each time there was a bullish day. Ethereum has nearly 2x in just over 15 days with a current price of nearly $150 USD and reclaiming its rightful place as the number 2 cryptocurrency. So, for today's episode, I would like to dive into why Ethereum might have one of the better years, and will the project rival Bitcoin's market cap and threaten to take the number 1 spot as king of crypto. On January 16th, on block number 7,080,000, Ethereum will be hard forking. This is the Constantinople Hard Fork, and this is a non-contentious hard fork made to improve Ethereum. Non-contentious means that people are not fighting it, and all the Ethereum nodes will agree on the new chain. Now, this hard fork is nothing the average Ethereum user has to worry about right now. If your Ethereum is on an exchange, you will need to do nothing. If your Ethereum is in a hardware wallet, MyEther wallet, MyCrypto, Coinbase, Jax, a paper wallet, you need to do nothing. If you're running an Eth node, you do need to update it, but if you don't, you won't lose your Ethereum. So there is nothing to stress about. If you mine Ethereum, you just need to make sure your rigs are pointed at the new chain and not the old chain. Now, some people believe this hard fork is Ethereum changing to proof of stake, and this is false. The hard fork is adding 5 EIPs or Ethereum improvement proposals. EIP 145 and EIP 1052 will allow future smart contracts to be made slightly cheaper than in the past. EIP 1014 will help with the generalized state channels, making them more affordable and easier to create for developers. EIP 1283 will allow existing contracts and future contracts executions to be cheaper due to the addition of net gas metering. The big one is regarding EIP 1234. This delays the difficulty bomb by another year, and issuance of rewards are going down from 3 Ethereum base rewards per block to 2 Ethereum base rewards per block. So basically, the difficulty bomb is the beginning of the switch from proof of work to proof of stake. It refers to increasing the difficulty level of the puzzles in the mining algorithm. It's a deterrent for miners who may opt to continue with proof of work even after the blockchain transitions to proof of stake. The bomb will hopefully prevent forking of the Ethereum blockchain during that time. So, issuance of new Ethereum currently is about 6.5% annually, and after this hard fork, it will be around 4 to 4.5%. Once Casper, sharding, and proof of stake is fully implemented, it should be somewhere between 0.5 to 2%. So the main reason that inflation can be much lower in proof of stake is that with proof of work, miners are destroying a valuable asset, electricity, and maintaining other valuable assets that are depreciating, GPUs and ASICs. So the issuance rate needs to be higher in order to incentivize enough decentralization in proof of work. The fact that proof of stake will be much less wasteful and more accessible to enter means less rewards can be offered and a similar level of decentralization will be achieved. Now, the switch to proof of stake will either be Ethereum's saving grace, which will push it up into threatening Bitcoin for the number 1 spot, or it will be its downfall. Let's analyze both scenarios right now. The flippening, they call it, the point where another cryptocurrency takes over the number 1 spot from Bitcoin. Psychologically, this would do major damage to Bitcoin as it has held the number 1 spot since its inception. But on Sunday, June 18th, 2017, Ethereum came very close to flipping Bitcoin, with Bitcoin controlling just under 30% of the entire crypto market caps and Ethereum controlling just over 31%. But since it has fallen sharply and the gap has widened to where dominance lies today, Bitcoin above 51% domination and Ethereum nearly 12%. Now, why did this happen? Well, back in June of 2017, Bitcoin started to suffer from a slow, clogged network that the blockchain had never experienced before on that type of scale. On that date, June 18th, where Ethereum got the closest to flipping, Bitcoin had peaked at its highest time for average confirmation for a transaction. Average wait time was a whopping 1,603 minutes, or over a full day, 26 hours. So people obviously switched over to Ethereum and started using it. But even Ethereum's proof of work blockchain wasn't ready to handle that type of traffic. As we can see from this chart, Ethereum had an average of about 15-second block times up until that date, June 18th, 2017. Then once more people started to switch over from Bitcoin and use Ethereum, the block time started to increase, day after day, week after week, until Ethereum was clogged up just like Bitcoin. That was Ethereum's chance to prove they could handle the load, but it wasn't ready, and as a result, dominance and overall market cap for Ethereum started to fall. In late January of 2018, confirmation times for Bitcoin reached a whopping 11,453 minutes, and Ethereum started to close the gap once again after solving their own issues of block times, getting it back down to an average of about 15 seconds. But they missed the boat, and Bitcoin was able to get their own blockchain load issues under control with the SegWit implementation, with confirmation times coming back to something usable. Although SegWit has caused an uproar and a split with Bitcoin happened, with Bitcoin Cash being created, and then another one, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, diluting the vision of Bitcoin. And did these block times go down just because of SegWit, or was it because people started to lose interest in crypto, thus less people using the Bitcoin blockchain? As we can see from this chart, the number of confirmed transactions peaked in January and significantly declined after that date. The number hasn't reached back that all-time high yet, and with another bull run, it could make the old all-time high in transactions look small in comparison. Will the Bitcoin blockchain be able to handle it? Only time will tell, but if the network does get clogged again, and Ethereum is able to handle the transaction load the Bitcoin can't, we could see a flip. But I would estimate that to be out in late 2019, early 2020. Also, with Bitcoin Cash and Satoshi's Vision now a thing, this could add more reason for a flip to happen. Now, I mentioned earlier that the Constantinople Hard Fork was a non-contentious hard fork. That is the general agreement right now, but this fork does have the potential to be contentious. Now, the block reward after the fork is going from 3 Ethereum to 2 Ethereum per block. Investors want to reduce the issuance because they believe inflation is killing their profits. Miners want to maintain it because reducing it kills their profits. Now, a ton of GPU miners will be forced out of the game with this reduction, as ASIC miners are more efficient. They can take a drop in issuance, while GPU miners will suffer the most. This is causing a big split in the community, as GPU miners have been a major part of Ethereum's community, even since its inception. If we go to the Ether mining subreddit, it's filled with people saying they are calling it quits and giving up on Ethereum mining. Happy New Year's, I'm out. This guy will be selling all of his GPU cards. This next guy says he will keep going, but if Prog proof of work isn't implemented and Vitalik goes forward with the reduction, then he's out. Now, ProgPow was supposed to be included with the Constantinople Hard Fork, and this was supposed to reduce the efficiency of ASIC miners, while at the same time making GPU mining more efficient. It was made to bridge the efficiency gap, but it is now known that ProgPow isn't included, and these GPU miners will have to suffer until it is ready. Vitalik has made clear that he would tolerate ASICs, even though Ethereum's white paper claims they would be ASIC resistant. It's becoming obvious that Ethereum devs do not care about GPU miners. Need proof? Let's listen into this conversation of a group of Ethereum core devs talking about GPU miners, and even Vitalik is involved.
You know, whether or not to implement something that makes ASICs obsolete on the network. The biggest thing I think would be is there actually a threat to the network having ASICs on there? I know it does affect GPU miners, and do we, even care about that? So can I hear any opinions, if anyone has it, on what, because we had the miners on a few meetings ago, but we didn't really go into much detail about whether or not it's an actual threat to the security of the network to have ASICs on there, or if there's centralization risk and that stuff. So anyone who has an opinion, that'd be great.
Italic impress.
Do we even care about that? Holy fuck, straight from the words of a core developer. Let's continue listening in.
Okay, so it sounds like we're not getting any opinions really on whether or not it's a centralization risk or anything like that. This is kind of a contentious issue, more or less, because miners, are pretty passionate about this, but I haven't seen many other stakeholders really care.
Vitalik is silent, and even the core developer admits it's a contentious issue, and this means that this hard fork may not be non-contentious as was planned. January 16th is going to be very interesting for Ethereum, and I for one have the popcorn ready. This is make or break it time for Ethereum, and could be a deciding factor if a flippening will ever happen. Cheers viewers, and I'll see you next time.